Russian troops should expect surprises if the long-awaited Ukrainian counteroffensive takes place, according to a pro-Kremlin analyst. Ukrainian troops are expected to launch an offensive in the coming months, after repelling Russian attempts to capture the town of Bakhmut in the Donbass over the spring and summer, with heavy casualties reported on both sides. The Russian army spent the whole winter trying to break through the Ukrainian lines and for the most part failed. Signs of a Ukrainian counterattack were increasing as both sides stepped up their military offensives and Russian troops moved to defensive positions. This week, the White House estimated that 20,000 Russian troops have been killed and another 80,000 injured since December, which has averaged about 130 or more Russian deaths each day for 5 straight months. A video shows fighters from the 25th Separate Sicheslav Airborne Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces destroying a Ural truck with Russian invader manpower and mortar systems in firing position. Apparently, they found a target and then adjusted their artillery fire. Near the car we are shown 2 loopholes, one near it and the other a direct hit. One gap was shown in the mortar positions, after which the fire started. From the motto Luhansk region is Ukraine, it is clear that Sicheslav's people fought in the Luhansk region. Recently, a source said the number of Russian soldiers killed or injured since the start of the war stood at 193,430, according to the latest estimates from the Ukrainian military. This figure rose by 660 yesterday. The update also said 6 tanks and 10 armored personnel carriers had been destroyed, bringing the total to 3,723 and 7,248 respectively. Meanwhile, the once-feared Wagner Group has been locked in months of fighting with Ukrainian troops defending the town of Bakhmut in one of the bloodiest battles since the invasion began. Prigozhin threatened to withdraw his men from the main battlefield if military equipment did not arrive. According to Ukrainian newspaper Ukrainska Pravda, Chechen warlord Ramzan Kadyrov was unhappy with Prigozhin speaking openly about supply chain issues with the Russian command. He said his own troops, known as Kadyrovites, could replace Wagner's units. The Chechen leader claims that the Russian Ministry of Defense and the General Staff have always helped and supported his unit, reports Ukrainska Pravda. On the other hand, a video shows the Ukrainian Armed Forces destroying the Russian invaders' 152mm Msta-S artillery installation, which they placed in a firing position in a grove. His operator found a well-camouflaged enemy vehicle, determined its precise geodetic coordinates, adjusted his partner's fire from an unidentified weapon on it and recorded the results, the video showing 2 consecutive direct hits. The Ukrainians, with the help of the R-18 attack unmanned aerial vehicle, large octocopter, also destroyed the Russian invaders' T-72B tank, hidden by them among the green trees in one of the forest paths. This was announced by Roma Sinitsyn's Telegram channel Rom, publishing a related video edited in 2 parts. Early in the morning, the reconnaissance drone operator found the target, and then at night, R-18 accurately dropped 3 large anti-tank cumulative grenades on the car. Meanwhile, the Russian troops concentrated their main efforts on offensive actions in the direction of Bakhmut and Marinka. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine announced this on Facebook, reports Ukrinform. Heavy fighting is underway for the towns of Bakhmut and Mariinka. In total, during the day the enemy launched more than 30 attacks, the General Staff said. As reported, Ukrainian aviation carried out a total of 5 sorties during the day on areas where attacking military personnel and equipment were concentrated, and 1 strike on the enemy's anti-aircraft missile complexes. During the day, the Ukrainian defenders destroyed 4 Shade-136 131st attack drones and 2 Russian reconnaissance drones. Russian strike forces are continuing their assault on Bakhmut, the Ukrainian military reported on May 6, a day after the head of Russia's Wagner mercenary squad threatened to pull its fighters out of the besieged Ukrainian city in the Donetsk region of eastern Ukraine, which Russia opposes. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said that Russian troops, spearheaded by mercenaries from the private Wagner Group, made every effort to capture Bakhmut on May 9, the date Moscow celebrates World War II Victory Day. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on May 7 that Russia had lost 194,430 troops in Ukraine since the start of its full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes the 660 casualties suffered by Russian forces over the past few days. Yevgeny Prigozhin, head of the private Russian military company Wagner Group, claimed on May 7 that the Russian Ministry of Defense had promised to provide as much ammunition and weapons as needed to continue Russia's offensive against Bakhmut. They promised that everything necessary would be put on the sides so that the enemy would not cut us off, Prigozhin said, adding that he was told that Russian troops in the area could act as they see fit. During this day, the Russian army carried out 6 missile strikes and 25 air attacks, as well as more than 20 attacks from salvo rocket systems. Russia attacked with rockets, especially Kherson and the cities of the Donetsk region, Chasiv Yar and Kostantinivka. The General Staff emphasized that the possibility of Russia carrying out missile and airstrikes across the territory of Ukraine remains high. The planned counterattack, made possible by donated Western weapons and training, could mark the most important phase of the war, as Ukraine seeks to recapture significant territory and prove it is worth continuing to support. Offensive military operations usually require overwhelming gains, and with Russian forces digging formidable defenses across a 900-mile front, it's hard to gauge how far Ukraine will go. The buildup ahead of the attack, details of which are still being kept secret, has left Ukrainian officials grappling with a tough question. What result would be enough to impress the West, especially Washington? Some fear that if Ukraine fails, it may lose international military aid or face renewed pressure to engage with Russia at the negotiating table, not on the battlefield.